The mess of stalactites loomed in front of me. Natural cave formations are disconcerting in many ways. We are so accustomed to living in buildings made for human habitation. The prospect of an enclosed space that was clearly not made for you can be uncomfortable. As I advanced past the first set of spikes, the ceiling dropped low, forcing me to squat moving forward. Moving past the initial wall of stalactites, I found more stalactites in little islands between 3 and 8 feet across. As the little spires joined together top and bottom, they eventually joined side to side as well. After enough time, these islands would become solid pillars of rock, holding up the weight of the world. I followed the slope of the floor, seeking the lower ground that would open up as much space between me and the ceiling as possible. I was in a long, narrow section of cave now, perhaps 20 feet wide. Progressing slowly, I checked behind every obstacle, on the lookout for a sudden attack, but I found nothing. All was still and silent, except for the occasional drip, drip noise of water, letting me know that this cave was still a work in progress. Moving along, my foot made a splish sound as it stepped in a very shallow puddle, perhaps half an inch deep. Looking up, I didn't find a corresponding stalactite. Feeling it with my hand, I didn't find it damp. Could that mean that water passed through here like a stream sometimes? Perhaps with the melting of snow or seasonal floods. That means that water must empty out or come from somewhere up ahead. There's no guarantee the water doesn't seep through a hole any bigger than a rat could squeeze through, but still, hope. I pressed on. My journey thus far had taken me 60 or 70 feet down this tunnel, and to my great concern it was becoming more and more constricted. I finally had to get on my hands and knees to proceed. Then I finally spotted something that made my blood run cold. The ceiling dropped down into the ground, and in the spot where solid rock should be, a small pool lurked. Shining my light down, I could see it stretched on as a tunnel beyond the wall. It could be nothing but water from here all the way to the surface. It could constrict down to nothingness, or worse, constrict just enough to trick me into thinking I could make it, and then wedge me in solidly to suffocate in the dark. But there was hope, though. The hope I held in knowing that the beast... God, did I simply imagine it? Did my pain-racked and trauma-addled brain fantasize those 2 glowing orbs staring at me in the dark? At the time, I had thought nothing could be worse than being trapped in a cave with a monster, but now all my hopes rested on my vision being real. For the beast was not to be found along this passage, and if it dared to travel through this pool, then it probably meant that it was at least large enough for a small animal to pass through. It was a gasp of hope, one that would have to suffice for my journey. I would need to prepare myself for the dunk. But first, I had one other thing to do. I pulled several matches from the box, and, holding them together, I struck them alight, and after a few moments, blew them out, leaving the charcoal tips to be my writing implement, and the cave wall to be my canvas. I was here, going in water. I paused. What else was there to say? I had never been anyone particularly important, and I really didn't feel that close to anyone. Sure, a few people would mourn me, but they really didn't know me, and hadn't since I was young. And yet for some reason I didn't feel like dying without leaving something behind for the people that might find me one day. I thought back on my life, how much I hadn't done, all the opportunities I had missed. There wasn't much that came to mind that I could be proud of. Some people sacrificed their relationships for success. Others sacrificed their career for their family. I had neither, and now I was probably never going to. Don't waste your time. My final epitaph. I had no consolation to offer people I wasn't particularly close to, but perhaps the last thing I wrote could be of some use to someone like me. The only chance of greatness I had was inspiring someone to be truly great by my example of what not to do.